Hi, everyone, and welcome to my presentation. The title is More Than Comics, Why Graphic Novels Belong in Your Classroom, a cartoonist's case for multimodal literacy by me, Caleb Orr. So, as both a student and a cartoonist, I've experienced firsthand how powerful graphic novels can be in the classroom. When I create comics, I'm constantly thinking about how words and images interact, how they work together to tell a story. That kind of multimodal thinking, it's exactly what today's students need. But here's the thing, graphic novels are still fighting for legitimacy in schools. My research explores why they deserve a place in every secondary classroom. Because in these secondary classrooms, graphic novels engage diverse learners, improve comprehension, and teach critical thinking. Graphic novels hook reluctant readers and support English learners through rich visual storytelling. Students actually perform better on comprehension tests when reading graphic novels. And from analyzing historical bias to evaluating narrative framing, graphic novels foster essential literacy skills, yet are often dismissed as less serious literature. But here's a major gap. Most studies stop short of explaining how to teach graphic novels. That's the challenge and opportunity. I want to highlight this. Across the literature that I read, I found three key findings. The first one is engagement through accessibility. Graphic novels naturally support multimodal literacy, a critical 21st century skill. Doherty and Gregg found that students reading When Stars Are Scattered used both images and text to explore setting, character motivation, and even trauma. For many, this visual access made complex topics like refugee experiences feel real and tangible. This is a quote from Doherty and Gregg. In a world where storytelling takes many forms, graphic novels stand out as a vibrant and dynamic medium that bridges the gap between words and images. I couldn't agree more. Now, here's the second key theme I found, and that's comprehension backed by data. The data supports this. Cook compared students reading Poe's The Cask of Amontillado in graphic versus traditional formats. The results? Students reading the graphic novel scored significantly higher on comprehension assessments. Here's a quote from Cook. Graphic novels are not simply texts for struggling readers. Students, regardless of grade or gender, largely found success through interacting with the graphic adaptation. And then the third key theme I found was critical thinking through visual narratives. Park's work with English learners reading Barefoot Gen found that the students began to question historical narratives. They identified bias, sourced claims, and debated representation. Real historical literacy right there. Now, here's a quote from Park. Students engaged in sourcing, examining author bias, and wrestling with history as interpretation, not just a fact. This isn't just reading. This is critical literacy, and this ties into historical literacy. They go hand in hand. So, how do we apply these findings in real classrooms? Do pair graphic novels with traditional texts. Teach March alongside Martin Luther King's letter from Birmingham jail to compare rhetorical strategies across mediums. Teach visual grammar. Discuss how panel size influences pacing or how color reflects theme, like red signaling danger or other related visual things. Assess multimodally. Don't just assign essays. Invite students to create comics to demonstrate understanding. But there are still big gaps. There's no clear pedagogical roadmap. None of the studies explain how often to use graphic novels or how much they should supplement versus replace traditional texts. This needs to be researched more. Scaffolding is also missing. As a cartoonist, I know visual reading isn't automatic. Teachers and students need training in visual literacy, skills like reading panel sequences or interpreting symbolic imagery. Also, there's still a legitimacy stigma that persists. More found that many students internalize stigma about graphic novels. Without teacher modeling, this bias sticks. Now, this is a quote from Mueller. With the exception of a few male students who only wanted to read graphic novels, most questioned their educational validity. Graphic novels can teach literacy, but we have to teach how to read them first. So this is my call to action. What's the takeaway? Graphic novels aren't a shortcut. They're a bridge, a way to connect students to rigorous, relevant content through accessible, meaningful storytelling. Atwood and Gerber put it best. Graphic literature is a medium for encouraging all students to engage with heavy topics that generate empathy through multimedia storytelling across humanities courses. But to make this vision real, there's a couple things we need. We need teacher training in visual literacy. We need curriculum shifts to recognize visual analysis as a core skill for the modern day. We need more research on how to balance graphic novels with traditional texts. And finally, we need student voice. Let students choose the formats that work best for them as much as you can. To close, I would like to share one of my nonfiction comics that I've made, a short visual history of the invention of Play-Doh. It's a small example of how storytelling, art, and learning can come together. Feel free to pause this and give it a read. Now, here's my works cited. I just want to say I really enjoyed researching this topic, and thank you guys for watching. Take care.